your finished product. So just stay with me through this little video and you can have this for dinner too. Hi, it's Grandma Rozenn, and what do you think maybe about having something, I'm not sure if it's Chinese or Japanese, I think it's Chinese. We're gonna make a Oyakodon. Now, I have only made it one time, so I have my handy little recipe here, and I'm gonna need to follow it. But when I made it, it was so delicious, I wanted to make it for you. So, we start out with chicken. And what Oyakodon is basically chicken with a sauce, onions, and rice. Delicious, right? So here I have chicken that's just little pieces like that. And I have 2 pounds of boneless, skinless thigh that I cut just into little pieces that are easy for us to eat. And they'll cook quickly. Then I have sake. And here I have 1.5 ounces of sake. Now, if you don't have sake and you don't want to go out and buy a whole bottle of it, if you have vermouth, that would do just as well, okay? But it's very, very inexpensive. It's not an expensive wine. Then we're going to make a sauce. So this is going to marinate. I'm going to set that off to the side. It's going to marinate for 15 minutes, and then we're going to start cooking. The sauce I'm going to do in here, and I'm weighing everything. Now, it's only like $10 to $15 to buy one of the scales, but accuracy is so good when you have it. So if you can invest that little bit, it's gonna be worth having. All right, so now for the sauce, we're going to start out with 4 ounces of Marin. And Marin is just another wine. It's a dry Asian wine. And 4 ounces is not very much. And to that, 2 ounces of soy sauce. Now I have my Marin in here already. All I need to do is clear it. It's called Terra. And now I can just add my 2 ounces of soy sauce, and I don't have to go measure anything else. 2 ounces isn't very much. There. 2 ounces of that. Now, Dashi. If you're not familiar with this, and I really was not the very first time I made this, if you don't have an Asian store near you and you can't get it, you can. I ordered this one through Amazon. It's very inexpensive and it's going to last forever. But what you can use instead of this is just a chicken base. Okay, it's some sort of a chicken bouillon. You would be able to use that as well. But here I have 4 ounces of water and 1/2 teaspoon of the dry dashi powder. Now I do understand that you can make your own dashi, but I figured I was doing enough already. So I'm just gonna use this little shortcut. Fun to try new things. So here is the water for the dashi. And I have got 1/2 teaspoon of this. And you mix that in. Kind of dissolve that little puppy. While that's dissolving, what I have done is I took 1/2 an onion and I cut it into about 1/4 inch slices and then cut them into rings, separate them into rings. And here I took just some green onion tops and just sliced those diagonally. So those will go in at the very end. And then we need our eggs. So we're going to put in 4 eggs into our mix. Now, every recipe that I looked at, because you guys, when I'm trying a recipe or trying to learn something new here, I don't just look at one. I look at a ton of them. And a lot of times, if it's not this, because I'm not accustomed to this type of cooking as much as I am to just everything American. So I will watch many of them. Every one of them really emphasize how you have to handle the eggs. And you want to break them up, but you don't want to scramble them. And it's because of the way the egg is then going to cook in your mixture. Can you see that? Can you come in and take a look at that? That looks like about as perfect as it needs to be. Okay? All right, so give me a minute. I'm going to move everything over to the stove and then we're going to start. Okay, I have moved all of us over here to the stove now. So I've got not a cast iron, but a skillet here, a Teflon. And I'm going to put about 1 tablespoon of oil in here. We're going to let that heat up. And what I have done is I have dried the chicken. It marinated for 15 or 20 minutes, and then I dried the chicken. You don't want moisture in that chicken, so I use tea towels, but you can use paper towels if you like. It's relatively a fast meal, but it's only my second time, so I'm being a little bit more careful here. And I didn't season the chicken because all of our seasoning is over here. Okay, our oil is warm enough, so I'm just going to pop our chicken in there. And we're going to let that cook. I'm going to try to leave it undisturbed, but I'm not very good at leaving things undisturbed. I kind of like to mess around with it a lot, but I'm going to try to leave it undisturbed so it'll get a little bit of browning on it. We want this to cook to about 80% because it's going to cook more when we add the rest of the ingredients, so 80% is plenty. See, I'm wanting to get in there and start digging around. When you're doing any kind of Asian cooking, I have found the actual cooking process goes very, very fast. But boy, the cutting and chopping and the preparation can take some time. But this is relatively easy, really. It was just preparing the chicken and the onions. And I think it does make a difference to marinate that chicken in either some vermouth or marinate it in some sake. I think it does make a difference to the flavor. Now, if I have Asian people watching me do this, be kind. I'm just learning. And it's going to cook really fast, you guys, because the pieces are so small. Okay, we're close enough there. So we're going to remove the chicken. Now, we want to wipe the pan clean. So I'm going to wipe it with a towel here. Don't wash it because there's a lot of good flavoring in there, so you don't want to wash it, but you don't want all that oil. Now we add our soy and Marin mixture. We add our Dashi. Let that come up to a little bit of a boil. We're going to add the half an onion, separating those rings so that they'll cook a little bit faster. We're going to let this come to a boil and then it'll cook for 4 minutes. It's really going to soften up those onions. And if you haven't subscribed yet and you're enjoying the channel, please do so. It's really nice when you guys do, and we love having you with us all the time. So if you're enjoying yourself here, come back often. Come back often and subscribe. And if you hit that little bell, it'll tell you every time we post. You can really smell that dashi. It really has a nice aroma to it. Now, I do have rice cooking in my rice cooker over there, and I use a jasmine rice, and I think it's such a flavorful rice. It's a beautiful rice, but oh my goodness, my entire kitchen smells fantastic when we have that. The aroma of the jasmine rice is just unbelievable. It's so good. These are softening up really nicely. Now it's time to return the chicken, and be sure you get all those juices in there too. We'll cook these for another couple of minutes here. I guess in the Asian countries, I guess this is a real staple. It's probably just as much a staple as our peanut butter and jelly, from what I was learning as I was reading more about this dish. Okay, this is starting to simmer. Now what I did is I cut these onions, the green, the scallions, the tips of them, the tops of them, I cut those on a diagonal because they're pretty. And you put those in at the very end because they cook so fast. We're kicking the heat back up to medium. We're going to bring this back up to a boil. Do you like learning with me? Are you adventurous? I'm not quite sure whether we're going to have dinner or we're going to end up at McDonald's. But that's the fun. That's the fun of it. All right, now we have our egg, which is perfectly done. And you do 2/3 of the egg in a circular motion, like that. And you let that set. And I understand what it does is you have different textures that are actually hitting your mouth and your taste buds, because these eggs will set, and then we're going to put the rest of the eggs on top of this egg mixture, and so you have very, very cooked and then very, very fine, lightly cooked eggs. On some of them, I have not done this, but as they serve it, they will actually put one more egg yolk on top. I wasn't ready for that, so I didn't do that. All right, looks good. It looks like theirs. Now I'm going to go in with the rest of it, and they all said to do a circular motion, which I did. Now at this point, you will cook it just to the level of is doneness a word? To however you like your eggs cooked. I don't think doneness is a word, but if you like it very, very soupy, take it off sooner. If you like them a little bit more set, let it have a little bit more time. I think I'm kind of in the middle between both of those. But come on in here and take a look at this. Come in and see how really interesting it looks. Isn't that beautiful? I think it's gorgeous. And at this stage, it recommended bringing that temperature down to low. So we will do that. It's coming along quite nicely, actually. I think that's pretty good. It's pretty well set. So what I'm going to do then is you're going to excuse me for a moment, and I'm going to get this plated, and then I will come back. Well, we have our finished product here. It smells wonderful, and it looks pretty darn good. It looks just like the other chefs. Okay, now it's time. Now it's a taste test. Really, really good flavor. Really good flavor. Chicken's perfect. Okay. I was brave enough to give it a try. You give it a try, okay? Remember to subscribe. The ingredients will be below. Hit the little button hit the like button if you enjoy it. And then there's the thumbs up button is the like button. And then the little bell. And come back again and we will do something else that it might not be quite as adventurous. Maybe I will have had more experience, but I like this. I really do. So thank you. Come back anytime. Bye.